What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and we're going to be looking at 3 stocks today that had earnings after hours. We did a live stream, and thank you for everyone who came out. We kind of just looked at the data and the charts while the earnings announcements were coming out. We saw it really traded sideways left and right. Most of these stuff we're going to be waiting on basically until a couple hours into the opening tomorrow. So probably around 10:30, 11, you'll start seeing a well-defined price in a lot of these stocks, and we can kind of start gauging on what the market is valuing on what's the earnings was projecting or going forth, or other various concepts in that. So first and foremost, the number one that was of course on the chopping block was Tesla. So Tesla had a huge run up into earnings again, gapping up multiple days, and now if we really do a nice zoom in on like a 1 minute chart and after hours trading, it basically got up to 1716. Near its high, got up nearly to 1796 previously high. That's on live trading hours. Again, this is on after tradings, again beating on multiple cases here, looking for some really strong buying here. We can kind of see here a lot of activity here that happened on selling premium and options. So if you look here via the trade tab, just as of today, let me close this one up, we saw a lot of folks coming out and just selling the smaller amount of deltas in here. So you can kind of see these numbers are shrinking down. Some people took some very bullish positions here, some people did not. Again, normally with the case of earnings and playing very short time frames, you can see all these calls are within the next week or in this weekly options. And they're just selling premium. These are just selling the premium here and selling the premium here, because again, we're talking about a very high implied volatility, IV, people call it, of 205%, and those are super rich times. Being able to have the capital or the equity to do that is just a no-brainer, in the lack of a better word. So you saw a lot of that options activity today within Tesla, even though the chart looks super strong and the trend's still intact. So we're currently about 10 to 15 minutes out of the earnings or the webcast starting in about 10 to 15 minutes, and it's holding around 1680. Things can happen, go up, go lower once Elon and the company talk, so we'll see how that goes. We can also look here via the chart again, looking for a larger time frame. So we're currently around 16-ish, 80. Basically where we were about 2 days ago, right there. Potentially again still holding that trend between that 5 and 8 extensive moving average and continue going higher. Looking for a potential breach above that $1,800 price if all things go well. But usually after earnings, things can slightly calm down unless something really just makes the stock really just skyrocket and go higher. So we'll see. Potentially could be building a base here and just trading sideways. So the next one is going to be the Chipotle, or CMG. They also had earnings today after the close. Also, again, been very super strong due to the overall virus and everything. They have been a large component of being able to do and transition very well to takeout and delivery services for all of their restaurants. And particularly with this one, the trend has been very much intact with that 21, holding that 5 and 8 exponential moving average very well, hitting some consolidation and just really building a base here, but now kind of lifting off back into well over the 1100 price target. Kind of coming back to that 21 here about a week and a half ago, and now just continued climbing higher, hitting an all-time high just today into earnings. Never really the world's greatest sign, not a really good look, but let's go ahead and dive into the 1 minute chart to kind of see what's after hours trading. It took a huge slap in the face. Everyone thought it was going to be a huge dump. We talked about it on the live stream, like, hey, listen, it's the wild, wild west after earnings, and let things settle, especially let things settle into tomorrow, and we'll get a well-defined price. The capital markets will give it a price on what, between the Wall Street analysts to the retail investors to the hedge funds to whatever, that price will be spitting out with a lot of volatility, most likely, usually after earnings, into tomorrow, and we'll see a nice reasonable price of what the market thinks. Again, the only thing we can always count on is the market. There is no crystal ball, there is no wrong, there's no right. It's just the market and what the market gods give us. So that is basically for Chipotle there. Again, basically closed the day at 1185, currently trading in around 1170. So basically only have gone down $15, so nothing too crazy there on the options chain on this sucker. It's a little bit, again, had not as high as IV as Tesla did of 200%, but there are still some folks out here that took some pretty substantial positions here on the call sides. Again, the Tesla and Chipotle are two different things. I understand that, like, Tesla is a super advanced technology car company, and Chipotle is a fantastic Mexican, really delicious, fast casual restaurant. They're not in the same section, so their IV is still high for, again, due to the earnings here, because again, during a pandemic and a virus, things are a little bit different. But you can kind of see here, people were also selling premium. So normally what I say by that is that if the delta is like below 45, 50, sometimes 55, even the plus or minus, they're mostly likely are just collecting the premium. We can see that during the next coming days of how those options volume plays out, but there wasn't a complete directional play. A lot of these options were just basically coming into today. Someone just selling further 1100 puts, most likely as a really good play here for to hold the $1,100 level and potentially even go higher. So that's a very smart play there, without a doubt. That's what basically we did in Tesla and in Microsoft. Speaking of Microsoft, let's go ahead and jump into that sucker over there. This one, looking here on the chart, kind of took a little of a doozy here. A lot of things were up. They beat revenue, beat earnings, all this stuff. But people are like, why is it still going down? Well, it's because there's a lot of what the Wall Streets expect and what they really wanted. It could have been that it had a little bit of an earnings run and people just didn't want it to. This is where the emotions and then the particular opportunities to get in as a fairly good opportunity to buy in when things are kind of selling off, even though the numbers looked actually really good. On Azure, one of their largest sections, it rose up, and I think it was like 40 some odd %. So these are all just like pretty good signals, and kind of strange that it's still down. Like, again, it doesn't have to make sense. It's what the market gods gives you. So currently trading around like the 205, let's call it 206 here. That's basically where it comes down to the 21 EMA. So this overall trade and this overall trend is still intact. Just kind of hit a little bit of a hurdle, a little bit of a slowdown, kind of hit the brakes, potentially a opportunity to buy. I won't be running in there with hands over fists, giving Microsoft cash. Normally, if something comes out like this, there could be potentially further downside. So if the 506 to the 206 to the 205 do not hold, potentially could come down to the $200 level for ongoing support there. To the upside, we really need to see it come and break above that 214 level to see those higher prices kick in. But now we just kind of needed to kind of settle, potentially build a stronger base and get that momentum going and get a nice little boost higher in the next couple of weeks or so with Microsoft. Great, that was basically it. Those are the larger ones that we covered on the live stream. I hopefully see you on the next live stream to come out and enjoy the fantastic festivities on that. Again, if you're interested in joining the Discord, that's down below. If you're interested in joining the Patreon page, I would greatly appreciate that as well. You kind of get a little bit more insights from that on there. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.